this video, I'll show you how to fix a Samsung dryer that is making a squeaking or rattling noise. This is almost always caused by a damaged roller or idler pulley, so to fix it, I'll replace all the parts that came with this repair kit. If you need a kit like this, I have a link to it down in the video description, so make sure to check it out. Alright, so for safety, I'm gonna start by unplugging the dryer. If your dryer has a hot water hookup, make sure to shut off the hot water valve. Now I'll disconnect the vent tube, loosen the clamp with a flathead screwdriver, and slide it off. And to disconnect the hot water hose, unscrew it counterclockwise. I was able to turn it by hand, but if it's too tight, use a large pair of pliers. Now I'm ready to disassemble the dryer, so I'll start by removing the two top cover screws at the back. And now pull the top cover back, and then lift it up and out. To disconnect the electrical console, pull it straight up and I'll disconnect the clips. And disconnect the electrical connectors, press the tab down to release it. And same for the other one, the tab is at the top here. Press it and pull it out. To remove the front panel, including the door, unscrew the 4 screws at the top of the panel. And now open the door and remove the 2 screws at the bottom. These are the only 2 screws that will have washers, so make sure to put these aside and remember where they go. There are 2 tabs at the top of the panel still holding it in. I'm going to use a 90-degree point tool to release it, but any tool that will fit in underneath the metal will work. Now pull the panel back carefully and disconnect the door switch. And now lift the panel out and out of the 3 bottom tabs. Next, remove the duct outlet. There's 1 screw on the right and 2 screws on the left side. And now slide it down and out. This is a good time to vacuum up the lint that you normally can't get to. Now I'll remove the front plate, remove the 2 screws on the right side. There's 1 on the top and 1 on the front. Same on the other side, there's a screw on the front, and this side has 2 screws on the top. Don't forget this when reassembling it. Now lift the plate up and turn it over, and undo the wire harness clip. Now undo the rest of the harness clips on the front bulkhead, and move the harness out of the way. Disconnect the moisture sensor on the bottom right. And now I'll remove the front bulkhead, unscrew the 2 screws on the right side, and 2 on the left side. Don't worry about it falling out because it will stay in even without the screws. And now lift the bulkhead up to disengage the brackets. And do the same on the other side. There are 2 rollers at the back of this bulkhead that I will replace, and there are 2 more at the back of the drum. So to get to the rollers at the rear of the drum, I'll remove the drum now. First, I'll disconnect the belt. I'm going to put my hand in from the left side and pull the tensioner pulley back, and then slide the belt off. The spring will snap the pulley back, so it'll make a pretty loud bang. If you want to prevent this, guide the pulley slowly down. And now I will pull the drum out towards the front of the dryer and push the belt off. So here are the rear rollers. The left one is broken and wobbly, so that's probably where the noise was coming from. And the right one is still okay, but I'm gonna replace it anyway. I'll start by replacing the front bulkhead rollers first, and then I'll do the ones at the back. I'm using a 17-inch socket on one side and an adjustable wrench on the other side. I'll loosen the nut here, and I'll unscrew it by hand. There's a washer on one side and one on the other side. I'm going to put one on the new roller. Put it in through the hole, put the second washer on, and screw the nut on. And now tighten it down nice and tight. Give it a quick test to make sure it's spinning properly, and now change the other one. Make sure it's nice and tight. So I have the two bulkhead rollers changed. Let's change the ones at the back. To remove the rear rollers, I'll use a 17mm wrench to hold the nut from behind and slide it behind the roller and onto the nut. It's a bit difficult to line it up, but it should fit in. Once you have it lined up, crank it loose. Make sure to hold on to the nut at the back and both washers while unscrewing it. And then put the new one right back in through the washers and right into the nut. And line up the wrench again and tighten it down. And now I'll replace the left side. Crank it loose. And same with the right side, hold on to the nut and washers. Put the new roller in. And tighten it down. Now I'll replace the tensioner pulley. The new pulley is nice and quiet, but the old one sounds like the bearing is grinding and it's not very smooth at all. I'll remove the screw holding the tensioner arm down using a Phillips screwdriver. The kit comes with a replacement screw, so make sure not to mix them up. Once the screw is out, take the tensioner arm out and make sure to keep the spring onto the arm. The new spring that came with this kit doesn't match with the old one, so I'm going to take the old one off and put it on the new tensioner arm. Make sure to install it exactly the same way as the old one was on. Now connect the spring in the bottom bracket. Put the tensioner arm in the slot. And insert the screw. While tightening the screw, make sure that it fits into the hole, and if it doesn't, wiggle the tensioner arm so that the screw lines up into the hole. So just make sure that it's screwed in all the way and the tensioner arm moves up and down freely. Here's a close-up of the spring connected to the bottom bracket and the tensioner arm. To reinstall the drum, I'm going to tension the belt first and then put the drum through it, although this is quite difficult, so you can tension the belt from below after the drum is in. Start by placing the grooved side of the belt over the motor pulley and both sides of the belt under the tensioner pulley. And now pull the belt up and over the drum slowly. I'm pulling the belt over the drum here, but I have to be careful to keep the belt in the middle of the dryer, otherwise it will snap off the tensioner. This is quite difficult, so if it snaps off, just don't worry about it and then retension it from below. When the drum reaches the back, slide it up on top of the rollers and make sure that the gasket lines up properly. Make sure that the belt lines up in the middle of the drum with the wear mark from the previous belt. If the belt snapped off the tensioner while installing the drum, make sure to tension it from underneath now by pulling the pulley up and putting the belt over it. To reinstall the front bulkhead, line up the rollers under the drum and lift up the bulkhead to line up the brackets in their slot. Make sure that both sides are in and then push the whole bulkhead down to lock it into the brackets. Make sure the screw holes line up and reinstall the screws. Don't forget to reconnect the moisture sensor. Reinstall the duct outlet. and replace the 3 screws. If you're using an impact wrench, be very careful because these screws can easily strip. I recommend using a screwdriver for final tightening. So I accidentally trapped the wire connector here behind the drum. Be careful not to do this. Now give the drum a spin and make sure that it's spinning freely and the belt is spinning over the tensioner. Now I'll clip the wiring harness back on. The shorter wire is for the door sensor and the other 2 go through the front plate. Now align the plate under the tab on the left side. Line up the tabs on the right side in their slot. And line up the tabs on the left side. And now I can replace the screws. There are 2 screws on the right side, in the front and above. And 3 screws on the left side, 2 above and 1 in the front. Close the harness clip on the left side behind the panel. And to reinstall the door panel, drop it into the 3 tabs at the bottom first, connect the door sensor, and press it in to lock it over the top tabs. Make sure the panel lines up with the screw holes at the top, and the screws should start turning easily. If they don't turn easily, then make sure that they're lined up because forcing them will likely damage the threads. Now I'll install the 2 bottom screws. Make sure that they have their washer on. To install the electrical console, start by reconnecting the wire harness. And now push the console down and make sure that it's seated all the way in. Now put the top cover on and slide it forward. And then reinstall the 2 screws at the back. Now reconnect the water hose, make sure it's nice and tight, and remember to check for leaks after turning the water back on. Tighten the exhaust tube clamp down, and give it a test to make sure it's not loose. Plug the dryer back in, and start it up. Alright, so the noise is gone, and I'm ready to do some laundry now. If you found this video useful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be posting more videos in the future. Thanks for watching!